Are sad commercials gone?
I think so.
It might just be that we don't have TV.
Oh, that too.
So we don't watch commercials.
So we see like a very small subset of commercials.
But then when I do, it's been a long time since I've seen a sad commercial.
Yeah.
That used to be a thing.
I think like the only thing that's made me like emotional is like sports montages.
Well, I think that's also because the only thing we watch on TV is sports.
Sports, yeah.
So maybe they're still out there, but I distinctly remember growing up that sad commercials were a thing, and people would talk about like, oh, did you see that one? Oh, that one always makes me cry.
Yeah.
Especially around Christmas time.
Oh, those ones were always, yeah. They were like tearjerkers for sure.
Or just commercials with stories. Remember all the ones with Giles?
No.
Like Anthony had before he was Giles. I think he was in a series of, was it coffee commercials?
Oh.
And it's a big story. It's like a soap opera.
Well, yeah, because like there was no skipping through commercials, and if you were watching like a show regularly, you'd see the commercials every time. So yeah, I could see building on like a little mini series.
That was a good idea. They should do that. Well, let's start things up. Welcome everyone to a very special episode of I Love This, You Should Too. My name is Indy, long distance commercials Randhawa. I think it was phone ones.
Phone
a
ones?
lot of the time. Long distance. Because that was a thing. You had to advertise.
Yeah.
Use our company to call people far away from you. We sound old.
We do. We sound very old. Also, around Christmas, there was a lot of like grandparent guilt commercials.
So much.
Of like, look at this small child enjoying the fleeting moments of his grandchild or his grandfather's life.
I think that's one of the ones they talk about in this. It was a grandkid.
Yeah.
But that is, of course, my lovely co-host, Samantha, grandparent guilt Randhawa. So today, well, what are we doing, Sam? This is your week.
This is my week. It's all about me.
Yeah.
Just kidding. It is all about Seattle this week.
Well, no. Because it's also about Chicago and Baltimore.
And New York.
And New York.
Okay, it's not all about Seattle. Sorry. It's about being sleepless in Seattle. We watched Sleepless in Seattle, the 1993 movie, and I had not seen it. Indy had seen it, but a very long time ago. And we're going to break down what we really thought about it.
But it was your pick, even though you hadn't seen it.
Yes, it felt like one that I should have seen.
Agreed.
So I thought I'd do the work and actually watch it.
Do you have other romantic comedies that you feel like you still have to get around to?
I think so. I think I need to like look at the 1990s romantic comedy list that I'm sure exists on the internet.
Maybe we just keep going. You've Got Mail next.
Sure.
Stick with these two.
Yeah. But yes, I feel like there was a lot of things when I was a small child that I missed that are kind of like iconic things that get referenced a lot still.
This was big. This movie was huge. Mm-hmm. And the effect still, like you hear reference to this all the time, and it's an older movie.
Yeah.
But still holding on.
Well, even when we were in Seattle and all the like tourist like souvenir stores, there's Sleepless in Seattle stuff still to this day that you can buy, which is crazy to me.
And yet I had so much trouble trying to find a Sean Kemp jersey.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did more for
Come
Seattle
on,
than Tom Hanks did.
True.
True? Okay. Sam agrees with me.
I don't know.
Do you know who Sean Kemp is?
He's a baseball player.
No.
He's not?
No.
He's a basketball player.
That's the one.
There we go.
Well, on your first watch, what'd you think?
I don't know that I loved it, but I really enjoyed it.
Well, there you have it. The same answer we've gotten for the last 28 movies.
Yeah, it was, I can see how other romantic comedies, like this was like a formula and how they've kind of spawned from this formula. I really enjoyed Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks in this. And I thought it was like a really sweet story, and it was kind of cool to see something based in this time, because usually when you have like a romantic movie, it's either like old timey, which is like back in the olden days, or something like very modern where everyone has like technology and stuff.
Wait, I need to dig into that because I don't. understand/agree.
Oh.
So romances tend to be old-timey or modern.
Yeah.
And this is middle?
Middle.
What year is old-timey?
I don't know, like the 1800s.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, and then what's modern?
Like now.
So just movies in the last year.
In the last, 10 years. I just felt like this was a very good representation of the time.
All right. This was a movie that made me feel old because this was the first time I saw a movie from the 90s when I was alive and watching movies, and it looked old.
It did look old.
Like the cars and her fridge. I wonder if they just had old things, but it made me
they
feel...
hadn't been updated yet.
Like these characters specifically she had an antique fridge or something like that. Then it would make sense. But a lot of it, I was like, whoa, I thought if I can remember the year, I don't think of it as being that long ago. And things don't look old to me that I can remember. But this movie, a lot of things look pretty old. But one thing that I definitely grew up with that does seem really old to me now, or those phones.
The rotary phone?
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness.
They're huge.
They're huge, and people carry them around in this movie. Like those
giant
so
cords.
Heavy.
Remember a long cord? Like,
yeah.
You know what? We're just gonna reminisce about the 90s. Let's get into it. How do you want to talk about?
Oh, I love this movie, or I liked it quite a bit. Did you?
I didn't love it, but I liked it.
Okay.
I think I'm there too because there is a lot that's charming in this movie. But my issue that I have with a lot of romantic comedies, a lot of this movie is insanity, and no human should act like that. And if a human does act like that, they shouldn't be rewarded for it.
No, like just standing in the road staring at him and his son.
That's not even the creepiest thing.
Crazy person behavior.
She does way scarier things than that.
Oh yeah. But yes, so should we start off with Meg Ryan, who played Annie Reed?
Great performance.
Oh,
She's
she was
very charming.
Fantastic. She was believable, and she seemed like a normal human until she wasn't.
Yeah, that's the thing about this movie. The first half hour I thought was very good. And I was thinking, oh, I'm really going to like this movie.
Yeah.
And then it gets pretty crazy. And also, it does lull a lot.
Oh, I was going to, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about, was how slow it felt. And I don't know, maybe now just because we can watch 10 episodes of a show all in a row. And
well, you can.
Well, I can. But I feel like now maybe it's just faster, but this felt like it could have been edited down a little bit more.
I think there is definitely a lull, but I think that's mostly due to the fact that our two leads only meet for 2 minutes at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Which I really did enjoy that convention. I thought that was a lot of fun, but I think it makes it a lot harder for your second act to be a real driving force. It slows down quite a bit, and I think it's because we can't see their chemistry or the troubles they're going through because they're not on screen together.
Yeah, and I did feel like after the first hour, I was like, so when do they start bringing this all home?
Not until the last minute, and in a wild way.
Because now you build on things. There's a lot of oh, this is going to come back. This is for this reason, and we're doing this for a reason so that you understand. This was okay, so she broke up with her fiance, and
even that is very late.
Oh, so late in the movie. I was something has to get going here in order to get us to the Empire State Building and to them meeting and presumably falling in love. So yeah, I was kind of shocked at how slow this was. But the beginning of the movie, the first scene.
So in the first 5 seconds, it's oh yeah, my wife's dead. And you're, oh wow, we're just going for it.
Dead mom. There we go. Yeah, it was interesting that the funeral scene was the beginning of this movie about a love story.
But that's a thing that they have to do in movies a lot. For whatever reason, a man is way more desirable if he's been married and then she died.
Yes.
That happens so often, much less with women.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I guess then women can be oh, he's trustworthy. He already won over one woman.
Yeah.
So at least one person vouches for him. But she's dead.
Yeah, single, like widowed fathers with a child is like big deal in the rom-com circuit.
Yeah. And
Like,
that's weird.
Because I think, like you said, like he's trustworthy because he has a human that he's keeping alive.
Oh, that too, yeah.
And that he married someone and they were like into each other enough to have a child.
So we don't have to do work on talking about why he's desirable because someone else already desired him?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, you don't see it as much in women because I think the general idea is if your husband died, you're damaged. Just like put her away.
Just put her away.
Which is funny because that is like a weird double standard in these movies.
Well, this movie is all about double standards.
Oh, for sure. Their house in Seattle was like part boat.
Yeah.
Was it a dock?
It's not quite a houseboat. It seems like a normal house, but it has a dock as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if under their house is water or land.
I was trying to figure that out for most of the movie.
Yeah.
Every time they showed the outside of the house, I was like, Kate, is it like jutting out and there's a dock like coming off of their house? Or is it
Are they on a pier?
on the dock?
Or is it on land? I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you.
But yeah, it was a cool house.
Yeah?
I liked the nautical elements to it. I felt like it kind of represented how lost he was because it was like very bare and like kind of boring. And it felt like he felt very bare.
And then his friends or sister? I don't know who she is. But they're like, well, your wife died 18 months ago. Come on.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Get it together.
Let's get dating. And then the son's like, I agree.
Yeah.
My lame-ass dad needs to bang someone, but not her.
Yeah, the amount of people who were like, so you're over it now, right? And you're ready to like date other people and get married again? Like, don't let him grieve or anything. Don't let him like come to it on his own. Let's just force him into it.
And the son does force this.
Yes.
And so then he's like, okay, you know what? I will get out there and date someone. And then the son hates her because she laughs weird.
She laughs like a hyena, I believe he said.
Oh. And he didn't like her potatoes.
Yeah.
So therefore, she is a terrible person and should be abandoned.
Yeah.
And is.
And is, yeah.
It's not as bad as someone doing the worst thing of all, which is having allergies.
Gross.
Oh, allergies. So this movie kind of posits that allergies are a defect of your character or spirit.
Yeah. That's kind of what it seems like.
Because he's supposed to be like, oh, he's some boring guy. We don't want him.
Yeah.
But he seems fine.
He seems fine.
Took her on a trip to New York.
Yeah.
In a fancy hotel. They go to the Rainbow Room. And then she uses this trip
to go like, meet some other dude. Guy. Yeah. And like he gets her his mother's ring. Like he's serious about this lady.
Well, they're engaged.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like he didn't get a good reading on where she was in her life.
Well, she was talking about how great he was at the beginning, how much she loves his family. And then she's like, wait a minute. I listened to this guy on the radio. First of all,
10 minutes.
It's Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And everybody at some diner is crowded around the radio. And this is like War of the Worlds. Everyone's really into it.
Yeah.
And it's a man who loved his wife. And then they're all like, wait, he loved his wife? We all want to marry him now.
Yeah. I can't imagine getting fan mail for just being an anonymous caller.
For having a dead wife.
Yeah.
It's pretty bare minimum what a guy has to do in this world to be super charming. It's just like, oh, I loved her very much and it's hard to get over.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Just the dreamiest man in Seattle. In the United States.
Yeah, people are willing to move
to Seattle
because he loved his wife.
Yeah.
I would think that that's kind of hard to live up to.
Oh, for sure.
Like, well, I don't want to be the next one. This other one sounded great.
Yeah, and he clearly is still like very hung up on her because of the way he talked about her on the air.
And his son's calling in to say he's too hung up on her.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be like, that seems like a messy situation still. Let's not.
Single dad with issues about his dead wife? Sign me up, said everyone across America.
Every woman in America was like, yup, he's the one. I really want to have to live up to this ghost of a woman forever.
I think this gets into my biggest issue with it, outside of all the criminal activities of Meg Ryan. It relies on essentially magic.
Yeah.
A lot of these movies, the line between love and literal magic is blurred. Maybe it's not even magic. Maybe it's coincidence.
There's so much coincidence in this.
But there's not. It's not even any coincidence that matters.
No. Well, like when he sees her walk off the plane, that's a coincidence.
Sure. But she peels an apple like an old-timey cowboy sitting around a fire.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, my wife did that, so this must be meant to be.
Yeah.
And the movie, they both, the dead wife and Meg Ryan, both love an affair to remember.
Uh-huh.
And that's a sign, even though Tom Hanks hates it and like just doesn't understand it.
Yeah.
Because men don't understand
Don't
romance.
get it.
And we're introduced to Meg Ryan when she's talking to her mother about like, oh, I don't believe in signs or anything like that. And then all she does is talk about signs
It's
and
just
magic.
100% signs for the rest of the movie. Yeah. The whole Christmas scene where she's trying on the wedding dress is like, it's a like information dump for sure. But it's like, this isn't a real conversation anybody has. They're talking like a script, and this was the only part that felt very forced to me.
Oh, I could see that.
Because it was like, oh, we need to get all this information about her backstory and let's do it when her mom is like putting her in her grandma's wedding dress.
But then the sleeve rips, and that's a sign.
That's a sign. But you don't believe in signs.
This person. Yeah. But she is with her current fiance just because of a coincidence as well.
Yeah.
They both have LT sandwiches.
Yeah.
No B.
No B.
They just love
No
lettuce,
M.
tomato sandwiches. So then she's like, you eat the same terrible sandwich as me? Let's get married.
Yeah.
And then when she's trying to reconvince herself to stay with Bill Pullman, they both want 10 China settings.
Yeah.
And because of that, she's like, oh, you know what? It is meant to be.
I do love him. Never mind.
That's all she cares about. She doesn't want to talk to anyone or get to know them. She just wants to go up to people and go like, pick a number between 1 and 10. And
Yeah.
if you say the same number, all right, let's
get married. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, the like registry scene, I'm like, that's such a weird time to be trying to decide if you want to marry someone.
Yeah, you should have decided by now.
This should have already happened. You like trying to decide how many place settings you're gonna have people buy for you. It's a little late to be like, okay, I actually do like him. This is like second date stuff.
So everybody is in love with Tom Hanks because he's an open and emotional man, I think is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But then the rest of the movie, they go on to try to tell you that men should not have emotions. The idea of a man crying during a movie, that's like the worst thing that they could do. And they go out of their way to mock women for having emotions.
Yeah.
Yet that was what everyone loves about him.
Yeah. That whole conversation with the sister is like, why is any of this a bad thing? Like all the points being made. It's like, yeah, women can cry in movies. Men can cry in movies.
It's a big through line throughout the movie that men just can't understand the emotions of women. And we see that a lot when they're talking about An Affair to Remember, because every woman loves it. They've seen it and they love it and they can quote it and they cry about it, but men don't understand it and they make fun of it. Even like the elevator guy is like, oh, An Affair to Remember? Yeah, my wife loves it. Not I love it. No man loves this movie.
Have you seen An Affair to Remember?
I have not.
Okay. I haven't either. But it seems like, just based on this movie.
It's a Cary Grant one, I think.
That you're going to hate it and I'm going to love it.
Well, yeah, because I'm a man and I don't believe in emotions. And I wonder sometimes that maybe this is Nora Ephron, the writer-director, talking about this movie and saying that, like, oh, it's fine, men aren't going to watch this movie. This isn't a movie for men.
Right.
Or if it's her saying that men's own reluctance to express emotions is what the issue is. But I don't think it's thought out enough. I think it kind of just gets into like women and men, they just don't get along.
It's like women be shopping.
Yeah.
It's just like a catchphrase in this movie. Like, men have no emotions.
Yeah.
Women are always crying.
But then when he does show emotion, everyone loves that about him.
Everyone's so into it. So yeah, it's very contradictory throughout the entire movie.
And this movie is kind of taking place in, well, I guess all times are a transitionary period in patriarchal structures, but how they talked about that in this movie was fun because has to go out and start dating again.
Yeah.
And I did like that little bit. And about the tiramisu and stuff.
With the boys. With the guys having drinks and being like, well, if she's going to expect me to do it to her, then I need to know what it is.
That was funny. I like that very much. Also, just like, people didn't know what tiramisu was.
It was like a fad. It's like when everything was cupcakes.
Sure. But we knew what cupcakes were before that.
True. But
there's so many foods that we have all the time that when we were very young, no one in this city knew what they were.
Yeah.
Like sushi didn't get over here until, I don't know, the mid 80s, late 80s probably.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And like, yeah, there's so many like cultural foods that didn't exist during this time.
But all of that bit about how now it's different, women are going to ask you out and that kind of stuff was very interesting, but then it's ultimately abandoned so they can just stick with the same tropes they're doing.
Right. Yes.
So there's interesting stuff introduced often, but there doesn't seem to be much follow through.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting hearing things like, oh, and you have to split the check now.
Right.
And he's like, I could never let a woman pay for the first date.
And that would be fun if we get to see him kind of go through these things.
Yeah.
Because it's a generational thing because he hasn't dated in so long and things are different now. But we don't really get that.
Yeah, that would have been more fun. That would have made the middle of the movie a little bit more fun.
He meets that one woman on a job. And when we hear that, oh, he's going to go out with the woman that from the job, it's a different woman. That was odd. You'd think they would build on that one, but they don't ultimately go anywhere with her either. Maybe she's only in 2 scenes or maybe 3.
I would have liked more of a dating montage.
Sure.
Because I think it's really weird that he was married and she died. And then his first date out of like widowerness is like the woman he decides he's just going to date forever.
Well, on the second date, he brings her to meet his son.
Yeah.
That's too fast.
That's way too fast. I would have liked just like maybe like 3 dates.
Go on a few first dates.
Yeah. And like have a bad time at one. Have a good conversation
and
at
then
another.
you could see these things that he was worried about and how they play out. And then maybe that would actually give him some reason to like Meg Ryan because he doesn't have one at all.
No. Is she...
Oh, they both like the same third baseman. Who's that Orioles third baseman they like? They all say like, oh, he's the best. He's not. He's like 5th or 6th.
I did
Mike
ask
Schmidt?
you, Mike Schmidt.
No, Mike Schmidt is probably the best.
Oh, he's the best.
Probably, I'd say so. You know me, I'm a 90s Braves fan, so I'm going to say Chipper Jones. But Chipper Jones is probably, realistically, like the third best third baseman.
Yeah, I think this movie could have benefited from some like dating hijinks scenes where he goes on some bad dates. Because you don't just like go on one date and you're like, yep, this is it. That's not real life.
Well, maybe his wife was the first person he dated.
No, he said he slept with 8 women
that's
in
true.
university. 7.
6 or 7. 7. It was 7.
Yeah.
I like when Tom Hanks does older Tom Hanks things. By older, I mean younger. Because this is in a period where I think Philadelphia comes out either right after this or just before. Probably after. And then he's doing Forrest Gump. You don't know young Tom Hanks. Mm-mm. He was a sitcom guy.
Oh.
He did like silly sitcoms and then did some silly romantic movies. And it wasn't until after this that he became like the dramatic actor that we know. And now he's kind of known as one of the best.
Yeah.
At least one of the most famous and prolific and everything like that. So this was kind of transitionary in his career. And we see him playing a subdued role. But then every now and then he starts doing his like sitcom-y acting when he's like doing the flustered Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
And I love that. I like funny, silly Tom Hanks.
I
a lot.
enjoyed those moments for sure. That it was like kind of a fun little light moment. I like that. I can't imagine a movie like this being nominated for Oscars.
Was it?
Now. Yes.
Really? For what?
It had 2 nominations, Best Original Screenplay and Best Original Song.
Oh.
But like any...
The soundtrack was good.
Was it?
I loved the soundtrack.
Oh.
I can't think of what the original song was. I'm sure it was big, but they had a lot of old-timey songs in this that I really enjoyed. And now, of course, I can't remember what any of them were, but there were probably 4 or 5 times where I'd go like, oh, I love this song.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine a movie like this today being nominated for anything, Oscars-wise.
I don't know, because I famously hate the Oscars and don't watch a lot of those movies. But so often I'll look at the list and I'm like, that was nominated? So I don't know.
It just feels like rom-coms now are just like chalked up to being like stupid, like not smart movies, and only the smart movies get nominated for Oscars.
True, but the first thing that comes to my mind of a stupid romantic comedy is Silver Linings Playbook, which was nominated for like 6 Oscars.
Oh yeah, I guess.
And it's also relies completely on contrivances that make no sense. And that movie was baffling to me, how it did so well both critically and commercially, and I just thought it was terrible nonsense.
I don't remember it. I know I saw it because everyone saw it, but he like runs in a garbage bag at one point.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the only thing I remember about it.
I think it was also a part of, well, not that it's stopped now, when it's like mental illness. That's quirky and fun, huh?
Right, yeah.
And then he makes a bet on dancing and the Philadelphia Eagles. And if you dance real hard, we'll win all this money. And it was, you know what? We can talk about that another time. I just didn't like that. And it was a romantic comedy that got some Oscar buzz.
Can we talk about when she's writing this letter to him? They're watching An Affair to Remember, and Rosie O'Donnell is there. And she's writing this letter. And I'm like, why are you writing this random human a letter, 1? And 2, why are you putting any of what you put in this letter in there?
And then the letter she gets back was written by an 8-year-old. And she's like, you know what? I'm still into it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thinks he writes like an 8-year-old now. Yeah. I felt like there's like a difference between like things you joke about with people like your friends and then what you should actually be saying to humans you don't know. And I also think that they should have made a bigger deal about the fact that Rosie O'Donnell mailed the letter for her. I like almost missed that detail.
Yeah, there are a few things like that when I really thought about it, I was like, oh, wait, everything is so tenuous.
Yeah. There's one moment where Rosie O'Donnell uncrumples the piece of paper that Meg Ryan has just thrown at her and then like looks kind of shifty and then the scene's over. And so you're led to believe that she mailed the letter?
Was there even a big thing about, hey, you mailed that letter?
No, that's the thing.
So she goes to New York thinking that she's never written him to go to New York? That can't be.
Well, no, because the kid writes her back.
And then she just thinks it got there magically.
Yeah.
Okay. And that he's a idiot.
He does not understand how to write a letter. Or
I can't remember
words.
what that acronym he put in was for. It was something that was dumb and funny.
Meant to be together?
Something like that.
It was like some nonsense word. But yeah, just like that should have been a bigger thing in most movies. If your best friend does something that you're like too scared to do for you, usually there's like a confrontation about it.
Yeah, and I actually kind of like that it doesn't get bogged down in manufactured conflict.
Yes, but it's still a big...
that's something that like should be addressed.
It's a big plot mover that she mails the letter.
That's the thing. So much of this movie is plot moving devices that just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, how about this now?
Yeah.
Also, this kid meets another kid who can book you a flight to New York, and we have cab fare, and also the flight's free.
How did they pay for that? Yeah.
Her mom worked for the airline, so maybe this was like a back end into the airline that I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Computers in this movie don't make sense.
Yeah, the computers are real basic.
Remember how slow the typing is?
Yes.
It frustrated me. I was like, okay, I get it. I can read. Let's go.
Yeah, we can move on.
But they were typing at the speed of someone in 1993 who hasn't
So
typed.
much of this movie is in real time.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me.
Whatever system she's in, which I guess is from her newspaper.
Yeah, it's like pre-Google.
But it's way more powerful than Google.
Yes.
It has AI that we cannot do now because she can just ask something abstractly and it knows what she means.
Yeah.
And she's just like, dead wife, Sam Baldwin, Seattle, question mark?
Yeah.
Like, here he is.
Well, and at this point, there isn't like huge online databases of people.
She's searching newspapers.
Yeah.
So it was like obituaries and
yeah,
such. That's how
like
she found them.
literally, or like if the boys' baseball team won an award, his name might be in the newspaper. But yeah, it's magical that she's able to find all this information and that they're able to pinpoint it so well that this is like she finds out full information and an address about him.
And I guess we do have to now talk about she illegally gets this information
Yes.
from her job.
Yes.
She says she's writing an article, so
Which
she's
never
getting
happens.
paid to do this.
Yes.
So she's using the company and she hires a PI
Yeah.
to tail him and take pictures of him. She then flies across the country
On the newspaper's dime.
and sees him. Or first, she goes to his house.
Yes.
That's messed up.
What was her plan there?
What was her... I assume she would run away because then later he sees her and is drawn to her, and her response
Run away.
after flying across the country and going to his house, she just leaves.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, you're into me? Bye.
Goes home to her fiance.
Yeah. That was very strange.
It was interesting to see the old plot contrivance and like problem of I saw something, I'm not going to ask any questions about it, I'm just going to assume that everything is done because he has a girlfriend, or like because I saw one thing.
He hugged a woman once.
Yes.
So it's like, well, now I'm going home.
I saw
after flying across the country.
Yeah, I like that is a long flight that she took, and I would want to like actually do the thing that I was there to do.
You've gone that far. You've already invaded his privacy.
Yes.
You might as well say hello.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really creepy the way that she stalks him. I can't pretend that it's like romantic.
No.
No.
And most romantic comedies do rely on actions that are criminal. Mm-hmm. It happens a lot.
Yeah, 100%.
And it gets really meta about talking about other romantic movies. So I wondered for a while if she was trying to make a point of like, yeah, these things aren't real or sustainable, in how some people like just dismiss those movies, but I don't think that's the case.
No.
I think it was like, hey, they did that in a movie. It was cool, huh? Now we're doing it in our world, which is also a movie, but like real in this world.
Yeah.
And it works. So there you go.
I just think about like all of the books that I read. There's always like a sad woman staring at a family at some point, like stalking you. And I'm like, that is a crime and is how most like true crime books start.
I do often talk about, and I'm writing this one script where just looking at it from a different point of view goes from serial killer to romantic comedy lead.
Oh, so easily. Very few.
She has the actions of a crazy person.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, this is a woman who is going to murder his entire family.
Or she's going to be riding the bus one day and she's like, oh, this guy has the same shoelaces as me. I love him now instead.
Yeah.
She's fickle that way. She'll move on quick if there's another coincidence.
If you re-edited this and said she'd like escaped from a mental institution.
Oh, yeah.
And then left the rest of the movie as it is, I think this is all in her head and she made up the fiance and they need to get her back on her medication.
But it's charming because it's Meg Ryan.
Yeah.
Do you want to watch other movies of theirs now?
Yeah, I kind of do.
Should we just call an audible and just do You've Got Mail next? No mini episode, just go right into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, you know what we'll do? Here's what we're doing, everyone. We got Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah.
Sam's going to do another pick
Okay.
of You Got Mail.
Yes.
And then I'm going to do my pick, which is going to be Joe versus the Volcano, starring Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
Oh.
That was the first movie they did, also a romantic comedy.
Oh, okay.
I'll do my pitch that I normally do in the mini episodes right now. I saw that in theaters, and it was there with Ninja Turtles, Aladdin, Friday the 13th, whatever number it was, Jason Takes Manhattan, and Joe versus the Volcano are the youngest I remember seeing a movie. I assume my sister wanted to see Joe versus the Volcano, and I went along, and it stuck with me. I remembered really liking it.
Huh.
I was, whatever it was, 5 or so at the time.
Right.
So we'll do You've Got Mail next.
'Kay.
Because that's more similar to this.
Yeah.
And Joe versus the Volcano should have been first, but we'll do that last. So we're just going to do 3 straight. We're doing a whole trilogy of Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks.
It's Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks
Wow,
month, everybody.
I did not see that coming.
I'm excited because honestly, they were very charming together.
Yeah.
And I know that they've done a lot of movies together, and they were the rom-com couple for a very long time.
Yeah, I do remember when You've Got Mail came out, because I was more like cognizant of movies coming out by that time.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, they're reuniting. It's going to be such a big deal.
Oh, yeah, because this was 1998. I remember her hair.
Yeah.
She had this like flippy...
The flippy hair. Yep, I know exactly what you mean.
And Meg Ryan had that hair so that Reese Witherspoon could have that hair in Sweet Home Alabama. And I could cut my hair into a bob pre-heat styling tools and hate my life for like a year.
Meg Ryan walked so Reese Witherspoon could run and you could stumble.
Yeah. Oh man, was it a stumble. It's just like now I can maintain that hair, but in like the early 2000s when there was no like curling irons and flat irons and stuff, it was just not for me.
Do you have any other little bits before we get into the end? I have some weird notes.
You tell me your weird. I always enjoy your weird notes.
I like she is won over by emotional honesty and openness, but then is a dick to her fiance and hides in closets literally. Broom closets aren't a thing anymore, huh?
Not really.
No. He's put it in the pantry.
Yeah.
Pantries are a bigger thing.
Pantries are a bigger thing, and you definitely can't get into it.
This movie gives you so many good things, but then gets real hacky.
Yeah.
Which I agree. They say ho a lot.
They did say ho a lot.
That kid says ho a lot.
I couldn't believe how many times they referred to somebody as a hoe.
Then I have, there's a ghost of the wife. That seems out of place.
That did seem like a completely different movie.
That dream thing. That
with
was
the
weird.
beer and everything. Yeah, that was strange.
The
And
guy that's allergic to bees I thought was funny.
Yes.
That was very good. That was maybe my favorite bit. Jonah only wears city merchandise.
Yes.
When he's going to Seattle, everything he's wearing says Chicago, Wrigley Field. And then when he goes to New York, everything is about Seattle.
That's how we know what city he
gave up on
from.
his Cubs real quick and
He
became a
did.
Mariners fan.
Yeah. Yeah, he wears that Mariners hat like for most of the movie.
So then we had to get to our... I keep saying super contrived, and it is, but that makes it seem like I hate this movie more than I do. It is, though, incredibly contrived and nonsensical where this movie ends up.
Oh, and the fact that like the big romantic moment is about 2 minutes.
Yeah. And there's no like kiss or anything like
No.
that because they just meet, which I actually really liked because that was something different.
Yeah. I liked that they just held hands.
Yeah.
I liked that Jonah was a big part of it. And I liked that, yeah, it wasn't like super sexual when they first met. Because I always find like when people kiss the first time they meet, I'm like, you're kissing a stranger. You know nothing about this person other than that he has a child. Very precocious child.
I think it's less of a deal to kiss someone you just met than it is to fly across the country for someone you've never met.
Yes. Yeah.
What is that elevator ride going to be like?
Well, there's also like a guard in there with them, so it's not like they're alone.
Well, and a child.
And a child.
So then she'll just say like, hey, I wrote down a bunch of things I saw in a movie. I didn't actually write that letter. I didn't even mail it. My friend did. And he's like, oh yeah, don't worry about it, because I never wrote my letter either.
Yeah.
That was this child. I didn't even know you were going to be here today.
Yeah.
So that's fun. Weird that you were still into it after seeing what an 8-year-old wrote.
Yes.
And then she'll be like, oh yeah, don't worry about it, because I've been really obsessed with you over the last few months. I actually hired someone to follow you around, but that wasn't enough. So I flew and I went to your house and I looked around a good bit. And we've actually met a couple times. And I've stalked you once already. And I spent a bunch of newspaper money on that.
Yes.
And then Tom Hanks will just be like, oh yeah, I live in Seattle, so are you coming with me?
Yeah, like how is this gonna work?
I also have a girlfriend and you are engaged? He's like, yeah, but I broke it off like 15 minutes ago, so it's fine.
Yeah, and we were cool. We just like gave up on the relationship and shook hands.
And he was just like, yeah, okay. I guess.
I don't know. Everyone seems very rich in this movie, so that's like money isn't an issue. But like if I order Dom Perignon,
yeah,
which is like $600 a
the
bottle
Rainbow
at
Room.
a restaurant, probably let's say it's like $800 for a bottle.
And they're staying at the Plaza.
They haven't, yes, and they haven't had any of their drinks before they break up. They have full flutes in front of them, and then she just like gets up and leaves. You'd be like, well, I guess I'm drinking a bottle of Dom because I'm not going to pay $800 for nothing.
Well, also, I've told my entire family we're getting married.
Yes.
I gave you my mother's ring. And had it resized and everything. Yeah. And now I'm just going to go home and be like, no, she heard a guy on the radio, I guess. And I have too many allergies. So, yeah, that's it for us.
And really annoying to her?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel a little bad for him.
Yeah.
Because he's like planning, and he's like very sure about her.
He's a good guy.
Like, and is totally forgiving of like all the weirdness she's bringing into like this time.
I wonder if at the end when he's like, well, I don't want to be settled for, so go do your thing. Maybe he's like, ooh, she's crazy. I might be dodging a bullet here.
I think by the end of that conversation, he's like, yeah, you go. And like puts the ring back in his pocket and is like, go now. Go. Yeah, it does feel like maybe he's dodging a bullet here. Mm-hmm. Poor Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
He's getting way more than he's bargaining for here.
Oh man, what is their life gonna be like?
Oh man, is there a sequel? Can there be a sequel?
Well, I assume she kills him in the sequel.
Yeah, and like where's his skin?
What a coincidence, we have the same face now.
Yeah. Or I could imagine her like digging up his wife's dead body and like
wearing her clothes.
Yeah.
No, I imagine just on the flight back, she'll read an article about someone who flew a kite. And she's like, oh, I used to fly kites when I was a kid. Yeah. She's going to go track him down and be in love with him.
Yeah. I feel like they're going to have a really scary life together. Someone's getting murdered.
Ooh, I wonder who. Mm-hmm. Well, that's all we have, but not really, because next week we're going to come back.
We're going to continue on this path of insanity.
With a movie I think might be better.
Okay.
I don't know. But you know what? We never really wrapped up on this. How do you feel?
I still enjoyed it.
That's the thing. There's so much of it that is good enough that you forgive some really egregious stuff.
Yes.
While in something like Love Actually has similar terrible people in it, right? Mm-hmm. And that I find unforgivable and very difficult to watch.
Yeah.
But here, you're like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. The closer you look, the worse this movie is. But this is a movie that I see how you can just sit and go along for the ride and really like it.
Yeah.
Because there was enough charm in the two of them.
That you're willing to, like, suspend your disbelief of, like...
Or at least just not think about it too hard.
Yeah. Just let it gloss over you.
Yeah. So still, I think, not those great romantic comedies that I told you did exist in the 90s that you haven't seen, but a fine movie in many ways. Yeah. If a little crazy.
So crazy.
Okay, so looking at it now, we are going to get into the festival season
really fast.
right away. And if you're new to the podcast, we're going to a bunch of music festivals and we are going to do episodes promoting those and what you can see there, and then episodes from the festivals themselves, hopefully again with interviews and all of that sort of thing for the Edmonton and Calgary folk festivals. So that's going to be happening, and that takes up a good bit of our summer. So what we'll do is, when we come back, we are going to jump right back into this. So if you can't wait for the You've Got Mail episode, you have to. It's not going to come out until the end of August. And then we'll do Joe versus the Volcano right then. But maybe for us, we'll record them now because we're kind of on a Hanks and Ryan roll.
Yeah, we are.
So let's do that. Next week, we're going to do a re-podcast of one of the Calgary episodes from last year to show you what we're going to do. And then we'll kick off festival season for real for this year.
Excellent.
That's exciting, but also it's already that point of the year.
It's insane. I have things that I've been thinking about in September, and I'm like, oh, it's like months away. And now I'm like, I need to like get going on some of this stuff because September is not that far away.
And for the podcast, this was the point where I always feel like, oh, we have so much time. What should we even do? Let's do 3 Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan movies. And then you realize our summer's booked with festivals. October, we do spooky stuff. And then Christmas time, we do Christmas movies. So we're kind of booked up for a while.
Yeah. This is like, it's going to be Christmas before we know it.
No, I'm not ready for it. But come back next week to hear about last year's Calgary Folk Fest.
Yes.
And a couple months, we will finish off this pseudo-trilogy.
Yeah. Wow.
All right.
Crazy.
We'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Bye.